bank cards. Good morning, Nico. Thanks for your time.
Good morning. On Monday evening on the station, we're doing a 40-minute broadcast again on finances and also on the changes that are happening in the banking industry. And part of that is what is happening in the space of virtual cards. And that's what I want to talk about this morning. Now, we've all had the problem of losing a credit card or a debit card a day before a long weekend. And we know what happens when that disaster strikes, because the bank can cancel everything immediately, but it can't get a replacement card to us until 4 or 5 days after the long weekend ends. And that means we're having to use cash. That creates problems. So slowly but surely, the banking industry is moving us away from plastic cards to virtual cards, because that solves the problem. And I want to explain how virtual cards work. Now, the first advantage is that virtual cards, you can have an unlimited number of cards. They're created through your app, and you can't lose a virtual card. On the front of the virtual card, it does not have your name. So even if somebody gets hold of the virtual card details, they do not necessarily have your name. You can put in anything in the little block that says your name. You can have Mary had a little lamb. You can have mind your own business. You can have the words, I'm not going to tell you. You can have the words, Jesus loves me, I love Jesus. Whatever you like, you can put in on the front of the virtual card. And that is what the other side will see. And even better, when you get a plastic card, that CVV number is valid for 5 years. On a virtual card, the CVV number is only valid for an hour. So if somebody gets hold of your virtual card details, they've got to really move smartly, because an hour later, that CVV number is invalid, and therefore the information that is available to them becomes invalid as well. Now, that already gives us various advantages. And if you're very nervous, you can use the virtual card, and immediately afterwards, you can temporarily block the card until you next need to use it again. Then you unblock it, use it, and block it again afterwards, so that it becomes impossible to use your virtual card without your permission. Now, remember, virtual cards can be credit cards or debit cards or bank cards. So they give you a much better security than you would ordinarily have. I have more than one virtual card. So when my statements arrive, they're already grouped in categories. So I can quickly check the amounts of money that I have spent under each category. So you can have a virtual card for fuel, a virtual card for media, a virtual card for clothes. And you can also, when you actually do shopping at a store, use a virtual card to pay. Now, we know, both of us, that SARS has had a number of breaches, and our bank details have been accessed through SARS. I'm not even going to talk about how frequently that happens with the mobile companies, which means technically you can also use virtual cards with those two groups of organizations. And that gives you an extra layer of protection. So for me, the security that virtual cards give is a good idea. It is a new step in a new direction, but it does mean we have fewer problems that people are accessing our information, using it against our wishes, and it also means there are fewer fights with your credit card company when your card is used in an inappropriate way. So it's worth exploring. Start the conversation with your bank, check out what the rules are. And I like the idea that there are an unlimited number of virtual cards that you can create. It makes bookkeeping so much easier for those of us who hate working on our budgets. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico.